Um, is this the best time to collect of all eras of physical media? Um, Whether movies or video games, period. And I never grew up in life buying things on sale. Um, your average, and I think they do this all across America as well. Your average storefront doesn't put things on sale. They try to get from you, the customer, the maximum value that they could get from you, which to me personally, I would say is 100% bad business. Okay, I don't sell. I don't resell, to be honest with you. I just collect. But if I was, I still try to give a little bit of a deal somehow. I've learned for myself. I feel that that opens up the best odds of making a sell at the fastest pace, as well as you might develop to have happy customers with that. So, what's the point? A lot of people on the internet wise are do business. I would say a lot better than storefronts. Storefronts is trying to bust you in the head for that 50, $60. On the internet, you still can maybe get it for $40 at least. Let's say. To me, I say if I paid $20 for the game, $10 to $15 more the most. Okay, that's how much I would value it, y'all. Like if I could get it for the lowest of price, I might add like $10 to $15 to it. Yeah. And a lot of people don't do business like that. And you know what is the opportunity with a lot of those businesses is to catch them lacking maybe on one object or two that could be for a good price that they're undervaluing, and then you're gone from that space. That's how I move with stores. When I find stores that have like time warp cool stuff, um but they're overpriced on it, it's likely a couple objects will be for a decent price that if you can narrow out which ones is the things that you would be interested in, hopefully one of those could be for that price. And for most of the times with myself, it happens. So like the last time I went to a game store, I found it was out of a lot of looking at stuff. It was only really three games I was interested in, and I wound up getting one. Bingo! I went in there for the first time, and I left in there. I left from there with something. That so it comes back to like how I learned to do business over these years. So it's I think it's the best. Like there are, and you could buy these too. There are postings of like Funko sheet prices of like the cheapest they were selling video games that's worth thousands of dollars right now. And I'm telling y'all, that's still going on right now. Um, I don't know if games are staying around for as long as they used to stay around, meaning like 3 years, half a decade to a whole decade to 15 years. You can still find it around in the wild and buy it for a reasonable price. That I'm gonna tell y'all, I feel is highly not gonna be possible later on. The games, okay. I went to the game store I went to the other day, y'all. 99% didn't have none of the stuff like the stuff I have. How about that for an example? Going through the majority of the stuff they had, they didn't have nothing I had, and I consider that meaning like I had better games than them. So a lot of stores is not gonna have in the later down the line what I have, unless somebody brings it in there by mistake or whatever. They're gonna have one copy. They're not gonna have what I have, y'all. So stores, I'm talking about even Asian stores, are not selling the kind of games they should be selling. And so when it comes to a lot of your average collectors across America, if they're not buying these games from limited run, from super rare games, from these different kind of brands and lines, you got a lot of people across America and across the world are gonna have generic games, and their closest copy is gonna be a digital download of that game. 330 million people are registered to the new Nintendo Switch. Well, it's not new. 8 years old, so beyond half a decade old. Nintendo Switch, 330 million people. They're not printing only certain games. They might print out 1 million copies of, and majority of the other games they're not printing over. I think 250,000 copies. I don't even maybe think they're printing over 50,000 copies. I have a feeling a lot of these games for these companies that's been coming out for the past couple of years, y'all, from certain smaller companies, I don't think they're printing out over like 50 to 100,000 copies. Out of over 300 million people. There's only going to be a certain amount of copies of cartridges. I'm telling y'all right now, to your average consumer who's making 15 an hour, there are video games you could buy right now, brand new, and in the coming few years, you will have some heavy hitters in your hands if you start buying them now. This is like the best era I would consider. It's the highest definition of quality that you could get of the games I play at this moment: the Nintendo Switch, the PS4, the Xbox. It aligns with the televisions that y'all play them games on, and they're putting out like really serious stuff from back in the Super Nintendo era that most people are overlooking. Most definitely, I would say that. Like this month right now of November, I've definitely been saying that for a suggestion maybe for 2 years or not longer. What times of the year is the best time? One of the best times, Black Friday. This is November month. Yeah, you could buy tons of games for under $15. There's sales going on right now today. I'm trying to wait for Ninja Saviors to go down a little bit more in price, and then I would like to get like 2 copies. But yo, it's some really really good sales going on right now, and it's only gonna get even better. I'm waiting for the Ninja Turtles Chowabunga collection to hopefully, like, if it could hit $10 or something like that for used copies, maybe from GameStop. I'm gonna try to get like 5 to 10 copies, $100. Just put that away. Um, yeah, it's a very good era, bro. I consider it the best era. To me, I would consider it the best era. Aside from the only other way with the old retro consoles, you have to modify the system to have HDMI port, which is possible. Costs a little bit of money if you're not doing it yourself. It costs a little bit of money doing it yourself as well. But it's just tons of great stuff right now, dude. Very gracious for my opportunity of being able to have learned this within this time, and you know for myself, I'm glad to take this risk. I don't really consider that expensive of a risk. You could have a collection 20K, 40K, 100K worth in value of games right now, and you only got to spend like $3,000, $4,000. But that's buying like $13 games. I think, like, if you buy like the right games and you get them on sale for around that price, you got to get like around like maybe 200 pieces. Yeah, you can have like 100K in your hands for like less than 3 to 4 grand in investments. So I, you know, I don't know if the old school collectors back in the Super Nintendo era had this same kind of an opportunity to obtain, but yeah, I have a feeling I'm gonna be in the mix of certain pools later in like the over these next 5 years. I'm gonna be one of the people in the mix of it because I feel like most people in the world don't they're not buying 10 copies of games. So and better. So there's only gonna be a few people in that behalf, and like for my behalf, I'm gonna be selling that over the years, not like all in one year. Oh, I want to get rid of all these copies in one bunch. No, I'm gonna do it gradually, year by year, like most likely. Um, Later down the line, when whatever goes down for the popularity of a Nintendo Switch or the games for the PS4, or you see how the PS5 even go as well. But hold out, get these games or get these DVD movies while they're on sale. And yeah, you got timeless pieces that only go up in value that you only might pay $15, $13 for. Yeah, I'm telling you, for so far in my life, if it was 90% of it, I used to pay, I was definitely spending 50, $60 for games for most of my life until I started learning about, like, okay, I did here and there in these past 3, 4 years buy a game for its full price, but most of the games was like $35. And it wasn't a lot of games. I wait till they go down to like $20 and lower, and that's when I really attack to start buying like maybe four orders of that and better. So that's buying like 8 copies and better. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Like yeah, like $100 for 5 copies, or it might be less if it's $15 or even cheaper than that. You just buy the right. You just gotta buy the right games. It's not buying 20 copies of Super Mario. You can get 1 or 2 copies, especially if you got the first print of those or the new Zeldas. Yeah, you can get the first print. Make sure as well as possible, best condition. Put that away. But I would not buy like a trillion copies of stuff like that. Like I'm so late to the party of Switch. I got 3, but I paid like 20 something bucks for those when they went to sell at Target. I think $26 or something. I got 3 copies of those. That's the third print. I got 1 copy of Zelda. That's the third print. So I don't even got the first prints of a lot of those. The what people would consider to be the major titles that you should be getting. That's like the least of the titles I've been collecting. I do not go after Mario's and Pokemons. I bought one. I bought one of those. The double box edition. But I don't go after that stuff. I go after these I would consider obscure games, 2D games, games that your average kid and consumer does. They only play Call of Duty and Fortnite. Call of Duty and Fortnite. I'm not going after. I mean, if I could have got a copy of that Fortnite, the first Fortnite, by all means, because that's not a cheap disc right now. But nah, nah. So yeah, yo, this era y'all we in right now, they a lot of these developers and OGs published a lot of old school games for these modern consoles that are gonna definitely be obscure later on. They definitely gonna be obscure game later on down the line that your average consumer just doesn't know. That they I definitely could understand. You wouldn't know about it. You wouldn't know about it unless you're watching people show videos about it. Or later on you could start developing to find, which your average person in the world doesn't do that. It's on Twitter and you're following a community of developers and seeing cool things that eventually comes to Steam, eventually comes to PlayStation, eventually comes out physical. Most people don't know about that stuff. It takes time to develop to maybe to learn them things, and then I guess the coolness is having YouTube like this app here, where you can have a person like me or others maybe shed light upon those things. Like yo, in 5 months, this is about to be coming out by these developers right here. Y'all should probably consider not to consider it, but I do mean it by saying that. I really do mean it. I've looked at hours. That's the favor of YouTube, y'all. But at the same time, I would still advise people to take their own time to dig and look and learn and look for stuff themselves, because there could be something I overlooked that you wind up finding, and it's like, you know how many times, and like let's say a viewer here or whatever, there's mad games I look and I stay suggestion, but there's maybe a couple that I overlook, and you find, and then you suggest, and like, nah, these are, and I'm even agree to you, like, that's banging, that's really cool. So each one definitely could teach one. I would say that 100%. Each one can teach one. I don't got time to learn every single nook and crane, and I'm not going after every single nook and crane when it comes to video games and investments and whatnot. But I'm going after what I would 1,000,000,000% consider great investments. Highly undermined, but yo, seriously, good investments. Blessings that they even chose to give you or me the opportunity to have this thing in your hands. Yo, crazy, crazy to be able to have this shit been sitting around on the internet for like 15 years right now. This has a $200-300 game on this cartridge. It's been sitting around for under $20. This shit you could have bought brand new 10 years ago for like $5. And that's like $1,000. If you got right now it's not yet. But I'm telling y'all, it's like I would say $1,000 a piece. That's a really crazy good investment. I got 4 of these cartridges and one of them sealed. Once I found out Mighty Final Fight was on this cartridge. PriceCharting.com, Mighty Final Fight NES. You'll see the prices I'm talking about. A lot of the top industry game reviewers undermined that for some weird reason. When it came out, they undermined it. And then for almost 15 years, it was just like a cheap object you could still buy right now. But when it comes to looking at some of the top game collectors and reviewers, they'll show you like the original cartridge, the Mighty Final Fight for the Nintendo cartridge. Oh, this super expensive, super expensive. I'm not gatekeeping. I'm showing it to you right now. You could buy this under a dub right now. You could buy a brand new seal, I think under 40 bucks still. And once that hits the 500 to 1,000, watch when I tell y'all the top tier people. Oh, I've been at this all along. Do you got one now? How would you even fucking know unless I, like people like them or me, tell you when it's still a dub, still 40 bucks. I'm not telling you when it's, oh, do you got this $1,000 trillion game here? That's some dumb shit. That's some dumb shit. To all them collectors that do that shit, that's just showing off and boasting to you. That's the difference of my channel and the rest of them fucking channels. That's boasting and that's showing off to you. Anytime you see any collectors, y'all, and like, let's say it's a box of games, but out of the box, which I know about games, so I can see what's junk and not junk. It'd be like one super expensive game on top of the box, and the rest of the shit is junk. That's them trying to clickbait you. Like, oh, so miraculously, the $400 game is on top of the box, and the whole box is junk. Most collectors, if you're lucky, bro, you're gonna see it's gonna be like 3 or 4 games, if not 10 games in that whole box. There's bangers, if not more, when you find stuff or whatever. But one banging game and the whole rest of it is junk, I'm clickbaiting you right there. I'm straight up clickbaiting you. So I've seen people do that a couple times, and that's, for me, I'd rather say to y'all, that's the angle I'd rather come at y'all by, showing you things still while it's at a regular consumer price dollar you could obtain. And you know, if it works, it works. If it don't, you didn't spend $10,000 on it. You didn't spend $500 on it. I'm suggesting to people certain things that's $10, $5, $3, 15 bucks, 20 bucks. Pocky Rocky Shrine is $11.56 right now for the Nintendo Switch. Get on Amazon. Get a copy. Get a copy. Every Pocky Rocky Shrine. The 2 for the Super Nintendo, if you got those sealed, part 1 is like $1,200. Part 2 is like $4,000. And the one for the GBA is like $1,200. When it comes to sealed. Regardless, complete in box, in the hundreds. It's $11.56 right now. What? Well, for me, I know. So I bought them shits. Actually, I bought 3 orders. You can only get 2 at a time. I bought 3 orders today. It's gonna be millions of fucking people. This is the funny part about gatekeeping the business, y'all. 330 million people from the news on Twitter are registered to the Nintendo Switch console. I can't buy a fucking million games. I'm not going after 500,000 games. So why the fuck I need to gatekeep a game that you could buy too? There's gonna be more than enough fucking people. to buy my copy and buy your copy. Sent straight like that. You could fucking buy whoever was viewing this. Like they say this sometimes. You could have one view and that be like a famous person, whatever. You could buy a fucking 1,000 copies right now. And you're still not gonna be the main person. 330 million, 500,000, at least 200,000 are gonna be collecting physical out of that 330 million. That's a big number. 200,000 people. Or imagine if the number might be even bigger than that. Collecting later down the line for the Switch. Mad kids is fucking 6 years old playing that right now. I was 5 years old when I first played the Nintendo. When I first got my first Nintendo, and you know, I'm very interested. What was that first game? I think I was playing Contra, but I don't know where they got it from. No. I got a brand new Nintendo. Not when it first came out, maybe a year or two later. And maybe a couple years later, actually. Because I'm saying 5 years old. I was born in 83. That's when the system came out. So I got it around 88. I got my first Nintendo at 89. With Duck Hunt Mario. And then I would rent video games. My parents, if they bought it for me once in a while, happy to get. They bought me my Mario 3 or whatever. But, I'm getting sidetracked for a little second. So pardon my French. But yeah, yo, I'm telling y'all, to most of the top dog, let's say there's a top 10 of people who are, or when it comes to retro collecting, they know what the fucking games is by now and the movies is by now. I promise to everything. I'm telling y'all, I only did this for I played games all my life, but I only really did this for like 3 to 4 years. And I'm telling y'all, they know this shit already. They could talk about this. They could say the same. So this video might only get like 20 views, 10 views. But their videos might get 800 views, 1,000 views, maybe 10,000 views. Let's say even if it gets more than 10,000 views. So that's a bunch of people you're putting on. They know this shit. They know it. They got the originals in their collections. I've watched a lot of, not to say all, but I've watched a lot of these videos. So a lot of these people I'm talking about, especially like the top 10s, they got the original physical games in their collections. So they know about these reprints. They know. So you want to get into physical media, you want to get into understand. First, you're going to have to do hiccups in your first couple months. I would say for me, it was anything I'd say anybody do, you're going to have hiccups. It's not going to just go all perfect 100%. But you're going to learn as you roll. But GameStop, best time to me to buy. Black Friday. In the summertime, they do another Black Friday. And for some odd reason, they're starting to do it little increments through 2 months. They do little 4 for 40s or 4 for 20s, whatever. That's the time to strike your fangs into GameStop, I would consider. And yo, Amazon is starting to get mixy with this same kind of thing in a way. And the better part with Amazon is you get brand new copies from them. So, yo, Amazon is slam dunking all the other businesses, if I might not say. To my opinion, they are slam Hakeem Elijah wanting most businesses in the industry right now. They got to keep up with Amazon. Amazon is like the number one people I buy from. I buy from GameStop, but I'm still leery about it because at the end of the day, a lot of the games I get from GameStop, I can get from Amazon and brand new. Just collecting dust, put them away. It's the best time. And why it's the best time? Because most people who's around my age, who come from the beginning of the collecting era up to now, who maybe didn't know this stuff now and would develop to maybe by the 30s or whatever the hell it is, the time to strike your fangs. This ain't gonna be for another gen or two. It's going away, bye. Yeah, this shit going away, and hopefully we could get a nice blast of a season finale instead of a shitty season finale. I hope it could be a good, like when it comes to like the OG companies or whatever. I hope we get like a super kick-ass season finale of the end of physical cartridges instead of just giving a shit. That would be stupid. So, um, I love all the people who take time to take the risk of independent developing games, and then to put it out into the world, and then the risk of, it's, to me, it's the risk of you making hopefully a great piece of art that these idiot large companies as Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo, who never fucking invests into, truly can invest into. Fucking dumbasses. Nintendo, to my opinion, should have been collaborated with Sonic. I mean, Sonic, not say Sonic. They should have been merged with Sega. Sega should have been, or let me say it vice versa on a respectable base. Sega needs to fucking bow their goddamn head and merge with Nintendo. Yeah, you're insane. I feel like a couple OGs, like Nintendo, need to get their head out their ass, or whoever was the assholes of the OGs from back in the day, who they all, how in the business world, big tycoons, they all like to shit on each other. Some of y'all need to get your fucking heads out your ass, and y'all need to y'all need to like fucking DNA merge. It's been long enough time now. Sonic and fucking Mario. They still talking competition. You fucking stupid? Y'all brothers. Competition. Are you insane? So, that's a long old opinion I would say I had. Sega and need to fucking, they both need to merge. They should have been a fucking together company. I consider them, not to say the beginning, but aside from Atari, yes. No, they ain't on number one. There's two number ones. Nintendo ain't fucking number one. Sega's number one too. So, shit. A lot of the modern day is still based off the shit from the past. What's going on right now? It's still stuck on 30 years ago. Don't want competition. That's the dumbest shit ever. Supposed to have been merged. And get fucking Xbox shaking in their boots. Because they supposed... My issue with Microsoft, all those great independent developers should have been got paid off well by Microsoft. Like, yo, you're part of us. You're part of us. You're part of us. You're part of us. Microsoft did something similar to like how Sega doesn't own 2K Sports. And 2K Sports is originally from under Sega. That was supposed to be their game for the rest of their days. That was Sega's Pokemon. NBA 2K. And that whole 2K franchise. That was supposed to be all Sega. And Microsoft, to my opinion, does the same shit. And Nintendo for the past 40 fucking years do the same shit. Right now is the closest era of all those other eras of giving developers more leeway to bring out their fucking games right now. To my opinion. Aside from no, PS Vita was doing it maybe first. Really, but really, in the beginning, I would say it's Xbox. They just never came out with them physical. So Xbox got nothing but bullshit fucking games. They got a couple good games throughout these 3, whatever. But the good games was really those digital games that they needed to put out. That would have been only exclusive under them. And that would have been smashing fucking Nintendo. That would have smashed Nintendo in the Wii era, the Wii U era, the fucking GameCube era. That would have gave them Xbox, I think, would have gave Sony and Nintendo a run for their money for maybe almost 2 to 3 fucking generations if they would have put them games out, to my opinion, physically. Because those would have been the games right now. I don't collect Xbox. I played Xbox from the beginning of Xbox up to I stopped around the end of 360. I got just a little bit of Xbox games. A little bit. I don't buy Xbox games. Because The games I would buy is what I'm saying to you, is what they left in the fucking graveyard. That if y'all lucky, if I'm lucky, independent like limited run or somebody will maybe could get the IP and re-release them. Guardian Heroes HD that never came out. That was stuck on the grave of Xbox from the Sega Saturn. It came and they did a whatever, and they put it out on the Xbox. It never came out physical. It should have been came out physical. We're finally gonna get a physical Castle Crashers. This is beyond 10 years, y'all. 15 years. You're finally gonna get a copy, and you had to order that from Behemoth, if I'm right. The physical copy of the Castle Crashers. I still didn't see the whatever about it coming out for everyone and all to enjoy. Konami is releasing games under limited run. So the OGs are not putting it like mass printing. They're just putting whatever's the pre-order limit, which is kind of tough. I missed out on something right now. Unless a nice viewer or associate want to hook me up and later down the line with the Castlevania Advanced GBA whatever collection, I missed out on ordering that, and I really love those games. I really do. I would like one copy at least, and I even bugged out. So look, you don't win them all. You definitely don't win them all. But yo, this is one of the best eras in my opinion. Definitely, I would say get yourself consoles if okay. For the emulation era wise, you can mod these systems, and the later like these years go on, it's gonna be I think hopefully cheaper to get the modification pieces. So, and then you just have the whole library on a little scan disc card. Like for me as a collector, I'll be honest with you, I don't want a lot of games. I've been collecting for 3 years and I don't have I'm not going after a complete collection. Not at all. Not at all. I like arcade games. There's certain specific things I like, and that's just it. But I'm not going after no complete collections. That's just not my interest. That doesn't entertain me. I'll collect things that entertain me as well as I would consider hopefully to be rare. I consider that Capcom Classics Mini that I kept showing right now. I would consider that 1,000,000,000% just easy given. Easy given. I'm mind boggled. I'm mind boggled because when I was watching all those videos about Battletoads Double Dragon for the NES or Mighty Final Fight or whatever other game that's trillions of dollars, why wasn't y'all showing this on your episode? Yo, you can watch all the game collectors and not to say Metal Jesus this is a shout out. He did show this. He did show this for an episode of a bunch of like his whole GBA collection and consider what you should consider. But like predominantly, they should be fucking drilling that cartridge in your head. So this shows you that there's 1 billion GBA cartridges still right now you can buy for the low. So fuck the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo. Like, let's say, if it was 10, 15 years ago, yeah. We could talk about it right now and you can still buy it. I'm showing you Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and you buy this right now, it's still cheap. But to be fucking hyping you up with something that's like out of your average human being's reach, that don't make no damn sense. That don't make no sense, bro. You know, I'm going to tell y'all through the 4 years and the times that maybe I found in a while dope games that it took 4 years to find that game one time. We don't got 1 billion. No human being got all this. Nobody got fucking time for that. Nobody got time for that, bro. You know? So, to be honest with even my behalf, yeah. There's a couple objects I have here that if I was to show, you might really not find that shit. But it's like only 2-3 objects out of a lot of my games I got. That, yeah, you really, really might not find that shit. It's like, it's really not on the internet like that. But, For me to like do a whole video and that's the objects I'm showing y'all, that's fucking dumb. That's fucking dumb as hell, yo. Showing unreachable, like to teach you of, by all means, I'll gladly show, but non-obtainable, I don't like that shit, yo. I don't like that shit. Not at all. So buy Japanese games, y'all. If you like PlayStation 1 era, you like PlayStation 2 era, buy the Japanese versions. It ain't that much translation you really need to play a lot of the games you would want. You want the Silent Hills? They're all English voice. All Silent Hills, all Resident Evil Japan's English voice, and a bunch of other fucking games for the PS1, PS2 era, up to modern day era. For some miraculous reason, is English voice. Case closed. Detective Conan. All right, I fucking watched these videos and I took the time so I could say that, so you can learn that in this couple minutes instead of fucking watching that hours or the 2 hours or the whatever I did. You get it in this short fucking, yeah. They're in English, y'all. They're in English. It's a really a limited amount of translation that you can use your Google phone right there in that same instant to translate just whatever that little bit of blah blah blah. Aside from if you're playing an RPG, defense, attack, magic power, toilet paper. It's only fucking 3, 4, 5 cat in all RPGs. It's the same shit. If you really play RPGs, it's the same fucking lineup. Now let's go to another behalf. Your armor and energy and weapons and shit. On the Japanese version is HP and MP still, which is healing and magic or whatever. It's the same. It says the same shit. The name of the object might be in Japanese, but like if you find the object and you're playing it in Japanese, it'll show you that the shit is either higher in strength or weaker in strength. It'll show you in regular numbers still. So it's basically in English. So yeah, there's a lot of games you could still buy. While everybody's trying to bust off these 100 and change and expensive, you can still buy it for reasonable prices, and I feel enjoy it, to keep it a buck. Any fighting games, yeah, all the context will be in Japanese, but once you know what's the player one option and versus option, and you could just click start on it, that's pretty much the fucking game. So yo, PS4, y'all. I'm okay. That's one thing I want to go into PlayStation wise. PS4, banging. PlayStation 5 has been out, if I'm right to say, more than 2 years. They still behind in the type of dope games that have been coming out for the PS4. I find it weird. I find that weird as hell. So, as soon as whatever, because what they were saying about the Switch, that they might carry that on to another couple years. That might be the same scenario with the PS4. They might if they keep publishing for the next 3 to 5 years. Let's go. But I don't see that same thing right now. Like, we're buying PS5 games like that. Like, I only maybe buy a PS5 game here and there. It probably pops up on sale, and I kind of on the back burner with buying PS4 games, to keep it a buck with you. I just look for little 2D games and I buy them for the Switch. Unless the PS4 or if there's a PS5 version to that game and you can play a 4-player, then I would consider that the most definitive edition of it. Buy that one. Whatever is like 4 players of that game, yeah, then I'll maybe suggest to buy it. But there's an easy 10 games to 15 games out right now that can make you thousands of dollars later on. I would say go after them on Amazon. Ninja Saviors, the Shadow of the Ninja, I think. No, Shadow of the Ninja ain't out yet. When that come out, that's one of them. The Ninja Saviors, that's already out. for PS4 and Nintendo Switch. That's not gonna be cheap later. Wild Guns Reloaded, Pocky Rocket Reshrine, Mr. Gimmick, yo, the Castlevania Advance Collection that I want that I missed on ordering a copy of. That's not gonna be cheap later. So the three Castlevanias limited run came out with, but we're just gonna talk about the Castlevania Requiem and the Advance Collection. Um, the Advance Collection is basically like the Nintendo printing of Castlevania games, let's say, and the Requiem is the PlayStation, let's say, and I think the Dracula X is Turbo Graphics. So there's two Dracula X that's coming out. I mean, no, there's one that's already came out, and then the one on the GBA Advance, that's the Super Nintendo version. Both of those games aren't going to be cheap later on. So like I was like my reprints of expensive games that you could play in whatever they call that shit, 1080p, whatever y'all kids call that in modern day. Whatever you kids call that shit. Yo, it's kind of weird, but like modern day 4K HD whatever TVs, that them kind of graphics only apply to certain things. And then for other behalves it doesn't look good. So you have to change the options, the screen options. So like certain movies or maybe a game you're playing, whatever it is, you might have to change the screen options so it could look at the true display of how it's supposed to be. But most times people don't change the displays on their screens. And for me behalf, from coming from old TVs to modern TVs, I don't like how everything every show back to back or anything looks with that 4K, that Super HD. It doesn't look always good to my opinion. But yo, games are still selling right now for $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, 30 racks. It's still happening right now. It is literally still happening right now. You would try to say people ran out of COVID relief funds. Well, somebody's still spending 1,000 to 5,000 to 10K right now on games. Somebody's still in the mix. And but on a collecting behalf, when I watch these certain auctions, it's the games I don't go after, y'all. To keep it a buck with you. So I think maybe a little sweet pocket to that is that you won't even have to sell these games in auctions, and you still could get $1,000, $2,000 for these games. You don't have to. They push games I used to buy as a kid. Oh, everybody's buying Crash Bandicoot. Okay, I'll get a copy too. Not in modern day. You know, if I could get a copy of all them games for $10 a piece, brand new sealed, okay, I'll buy it. I ain't getting on no lines for no games, none of that shit no more. Those days are over. Over, Roger. But it's a great era. It's a great era, y'all. It is a great era to collect physical media, to collect video games, collect DVDs. But I would say you should try to find your niche. Make sure you find your niche in it. Try to narrow down how social media works. When I mean find your niche, so like shows or movies that's not going to be on the internet, games and objects that's not going to be around. That's the things to try to understand and then go after. And most likely you made well off investments into your coming future. What's your 5-year plan? Your 5-year plan is to get each check that you get week to week or 2 weeks or whatever the hell it is, and just keep blowing it off. What's your 5-year plan? Because in the next couple, you're gonna see me in different scenarios. Definitely. In the next couple of years, y'all gonna see me in different scenarios. So I guess exposing the world in IRL, how the kids like to say it. We're gonna be doing it in IRL in real life. But yo, physical media, baby. Why did I get into it? Because when I tried to through these couple years find another object that I could pay $1 for this, and but it's worth that. And I stayed asking people this question. Nobody can answer it. But I can. And I did. Renovation Evercade cartridge is $12.80 right now. That's a steal. I bought a copy of that today. So yo, peace, bro. Thank you for passing by. Thank you for passing by. Peace to my dude Will. So yeah, this is definitely, I didn't start by saying that this is an opinion based video. But this is a little sweet pocket. I'm even screenshotting, to say for an example, I'm even screenshotting these prices, yo. Because a lot of people like stuff like that. Like, what? This $500 or $1,000 thing was only $12. Like that. Like, let's just say this is a decade later, and I just got into learning about this stuff. I know that would kick myself in the butt. Like, dang, man, that's not a bad investment. Even if it don't work, it's not a bad investment. It's not a bad investment at all, yo. I really genuinely mean that. So, I hope y'all could take some good insight from this behalf. And, keep rolling with the punches. Oh, I'm going to end this with this behalf. This is what I'm going to end this video we're talking about. And I'm going to go back to this watch right here. When I got to talk to a person I found who got a bulk storage of that. For the past 30 years, people try to convince him to get rid of that stuff. He paid, supposedly the person might have paid 15 cents for a whole storage for the gaming watches. That right now is worth $200 and up. $150, $200 and up. For the past maybe 20, 30 years, the women that was around him and whatever energy and people were trying to convince him to get rid of that stuff. And if he would have, he wouldn't make the amount of money per object he has in value right now in possession. So, with that being said, if other people around you aren't studying something for 3-4 years plus, whatever, to understand the science and the world of a behalf, just the general thing of investing, they're not gonna understand what you're doing, and it's gonna be your own responsibility to have to blank that out from around you until they see the end results. And then when they see the end results, they'll shut the fuck up. Oh, they will shut the fuck up. But they won't shut the fuck up until then. So you have to strategize how you're going to do whatever you're going to do without dealing with that kind of energy around you. And hopefully you could prove them wrong. That's the fucking story of all our lives. You're going to prove them wrong. Yo. Y'all be safe. Y'all be positive, man. Thank you for the people who already viewed me for this period of time. And y'all have yourselves a good night, yo. Peace out. Slime!